Okay, this is Heroic Vortex Pinnacle, and yeah, this is the second heroic that I'd ever tanked. I actually missed the first boss, so that boss isn't actually going to be in here. But what I did have is a couple of wipes in this run. This did not go nearly as smooth as the Throne of the Tides went, because there is actually quite a few changes from the normal version to the heroic version. I did not research any of the boss strategies or anything like that. I was just going to go ahead and tank some more. After how well the heroic Throne of the Tides had went, I decided, you know what, heroics aren't going to be that bad. Well, this was one of the worst sides of them. That first trash was a dragon, you just have to pull him out. This is the first boss, well, the second boss, the first boss that I'm going to show in this video. Stay out of the hurricanes and make sure that you have the green buff. That means that you are downwind and have the attack speed buff. As long as you keep that on you and your party, you should be able to down this guy fairly easily. Just try not to get hit by the hurricanes. If you do, it's just going to knock you up in the air, and it really just slows down your DPS. Doesn't really do that much damage. You don't take that much fall damage. Make sure that you just keep spinning the boss so that you can be downwind from him. Or, I think you're either downwind or upwind. Anyway, you want the green buff. If you have the green buff, you're good. If you have the red buff, it slows your attack speed. He doesn't really do all that much damage. It's really just a DPS race. Make sure that you stay so that you can keep hitting him. This boss wasn't that hard. The final boss and some of these trash pulls after this boss is where my groups wiped a few times. When we did wipe, it was just due to either bad CC, bad coordination, or not knowing actual boss mechanics. The only thing you can actually solve before you go into the run is if you could actually know the boss mechanics a little bit better than I did, because I just came in not knowing any of the boss mechanics. But we actually did figure those out, and we're actually able to finish this run pretty easily. It was kind of how I expected my first heroic run to go, because if you come in not knowing any of the boss strategies at all, you're going to wipe a few times. This boss really is he's an easy boss, kind of a gimme boss after you fight the first one and on your way to the last one. The trash after this boss is a lot harder than he is actually himself. The only problem is if your healer was to get hit by a few the tornado things in a row and not be able to actually heal, then you may have a problem. But as far as this went, we had a druid healer, so we didn't actually have to have any of that. He was just throwing hots the entire time. He didn't really ever have to cast anything. It's just a pretty long boss fight, DPS wise. Now these are the trash pulls I'm talking about. These trash pulls, you do not want to try to tank inside the grounding prism there. Wait till they get out of that and then pull them on the other side. So I walk around here. I see that I've already marked these targets. My mage actually goes up to the other side though. So right here I just want to pull them before they get back into this grounding thing. The mage actually gets the sheep off, and instead of killing the skull, because he was able to sheep the skull, we're going to actually kill the square this time. The adepts are the healers. You do need to take them out while you CC one. And they actually have enough health that you can't just burst them down. You're going to have to interrupt their heals. Their heal is called Greater Heal. Just make sure you pummel that as your DPS takes them down. And once you kill the healers, these packs go down easy. If you have lack of coordination on your CC, then you will be in a little bit of trouble, because these packs with two healers are almost impossible to kill anyone with both healers alive. Unless you have really good interrupts on both of the healers, then you're not going to take any of these people down without CC. But CC is by far easier than trying to interrupt more than one target. Just make sure that you get all the interrupts with pummel, and just don't worry about whenever he casts Holy Fire, don't really worry about that. Just spell reflect that, and that'll increase the damage. And go ahead and make sure that you get pummels off on the greater heals. this is the last boss of this dungeon. Yeah, this boss, he wiped us a couple of times because the DPS in this group did not actually know the normal mechanics to this fight, where you have to get inside his grounding spirit so that you don't die to the lightning. What he's going to do is he's going to cast a static cling. When he casts this, you need to jump. He has a chain lightning that doesn't really bother you. That static cling will hold you to the ground and not allow you to get inside the grounding zone. So what you want to do is whenever he's casting that, you can just jump. When you jump, it'll miss you and won't actually hold you to the ground. And right here is his chain lightning. And right there, static cling. Just jump and you won't get hit by that. If you do get hit by it, like I did right there, your healer can dispel it off you. But if you jump, you can just avoid having to have any dispels at all. And because I was new to this and wasn't really sure what I was supposed to be jumping, I just kept jumping out over everything. I just tried to jump the entire time. You cannot actually heroic leap out of the static cling. But this is basically just a DPS fight where you have to move into the circle. If you have good dispels, like if you're healer, you won't actually have to worry about it. Our healer wasn't actually spec'd into the dispel. I don't know why, but he didn't have it, so I was having to try to jump all of these and just tank the boss while you DPS him, and it's really not any harder than the normal mode once you know the boss mechanics. That's about all there is left in this fight, just collecting loot. And thank you all for watching.